Good evening and welcome to SpeedGaming. We've got a Link to the Past Randomizer League today. We've got a match between Black Lotus, represented by I'm2good, and OK Game, represented by TwoC. My name is Zekai Wind, and joining me in the booth today is Don Venier. How are you doing, Don?
I'm all right. I'm a little sore from working out yesterday, but I am excited to go see these two play. It's their first match of a best of 5 between OK Game and Black Lotus. This is the Wisdom match, which means it's casual boots, which is one of my favorite game modes, so I'm really excited to see this.
Good. Somebody here is excited for casual boots, because I'm not. And it looks like we're off.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. Just anything where you just go faster. I just enjoy seeing fast games. Like Jet Seeds, love seeing them. It's a lot of execution and possible low percent things you have to do. Unless you get, heavy artillery early like a gold sword or silvers or half magic with a fire rod. You generally have to play very tight to go quickly. And another reason why I like casual boots is Hyrule Castle is this odd space in the whole world where it's kind of orphaned just in itself because it's so long to get each individual chest.
Does bombos count as heavy artillery for some of these rooms?
I only really count it if it's in certain rooms later in the game, in a Dark World or Gan's Tower where you need it, but it's more an atomizer thing for speed.
And we have a nice early map check from I'm2good here. Looked like pendants on, I think it was Desert and Hera.
I might have been seeing it wrong. I thought it was pendants on Eastern and Hera, but I could be wrong. It was a really quick map check. Yeah, like this section of the game is also one of those execution-heavy areas.
It turns out we were both wrong. It's Desert and Eastern are pendants.
There's so many eyes on it. It's good that someone saw it.
We also start early with the red cane from the map chest today.
It's a nice supplementary weapon. In some situations, using red cane to just kind of get a little bit of DPS on bosses like Landmo 1, where you might not have like Fire Rod or something to burn it down quickly. It's a nice little bit of extra damage.
It's one of my favorite items in the game, so I'm glad to see it show up early.
And it turns out to actually be a speed weapon as well, with it being able to be used for Icebreaker. So I enjoy seeing it too.
But so far, the cane's the only notable item here in Escape. We'll have to see what the back holds for us today.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of a progression later in the game, and it might not be progression that they want or need. If I was gonna say if the pendants are Misery Mire and Turtle Rock, but obviously one of them has to be a crystal, so that is progression later. As well as Gan's Tower right side of the big keys on that side.
I've seen that happen before, where you think you don't need cane, and then it turns out the key's right side. Always kind of amusing from a viewer's point when it happens.
Or like I want to say like a bootsless seed, where you see the Gan Tower big key on the torch, and that turns into a boots hunt rather than a nice red hunt that we're used to. But they don't have to worry about that with the starting boots in this mode. Yeah, as you were saying, there's like nothing notable so far outside of the red cane here, and possibly the medallion for future dungeon opening. They don't even have like that much money to even like get bottle vendor or buy bombs later, and they didn't find any bombs. But by doing the escape sequence, you start out with a guaranteed tier 2 or tier 3 triple.
There's the money. So that at least alleviates one of the concerns.
Then, like, luckily, Boots is actually access to the back 3 chests in the escape sequence as well, so you don't have to actually farm bombs like you would in the old, just standard mode.
We got 3 bombs, so that's at least enough to get through Kakariko.
Yeah, so that actually makes the routing really nice, and then they actually have extra money for Zora as well, if they would like that as if later.
And for our last item, we have a hammer. That is a welcome progression at this stage of the game.
Yeah, it's one of those really powerful weapons, dealing tempered sword damage. It's really nice to have early, but the hitbox is a little wonky, and it is a major progression item. It is something you need 100% of the time to beat the game. And the Moon Pearl.
We're a glove from Dark World, and we just barely left escape.
That makes the seed even more interesting, because if they do find the glove in the CAC area, we can see a lot of diversions, whether they want to go Dark World immediately, since they're already in the area for the portal, or if they want to do like South Shore first and then go Dark World.
And unless we don't find a glove, we won't be seeing Aghanim today.
That's always a welcome sight. No runner really wants to actively do Aghanim. It's just such a long time sink for no benefit outside of when it's actually required.
And it makes the overworld so much more difficult to traverse.
Yeah, once you defeat Aghanim, and the enemies in the light world change, and it does actually get really annoying to move around. I agree. And then, like, one of those things where if you do have the mirror later, and if you forget to save and quit, or you forget to mirror before save and quitting, you end up on the pyramid again, which makes you have to, like, mirror and do another save and quit, losing even more time.
Not too much in the Lost Woods, and I'm2good is doing a save and quit. Do you think they're going to South Shore early? Or coming in from the south for Kakariko?
That is very interesting. I've actually never seen a runner really skip that, but it's not too bad of a run back with the boots. And if they do find the bottle in the South Shore rather than in CAC, it's an extra thing they don't have to worry about. Or if they do get a glove, then yeah, they can come back later and just get all the items. And there is the glove.
Well, there's the glove.
And then they can just go Dark World immediately after to the west side. Yeah.
To answer your question, chat, this is a open league match.
Yeah, so far in characters, hasn't been a whole lot, but we've also still got like half of it to do with the two major things being the Thieves' Hut and the well having most of the items.
And these mole worms are not playing nice for bomb strats.
No, and he made sure to have one left over to continue going to Ice Rod Cave.
And we have a second medallion already. So, once we need to get into Turtle Rock or Misery Mire or both, we have a pretty good shot at getting in.
Yeah, when you know for sure that you have to do either one of those two dungeons, having more medallions really uses your mind that you don't have to try and find the one needed later. But there's always that chance when you don't have the third. Yeah, I assume 2C after his CAC route is just going to go so short and grab that glove, do everything that I'm2good's doing, where I'm not sure where he is going to go. And looks like he's going to set up a water walk by dashing on the edge of Ice Rod Cave and probably going to the Zora area with all that money.
With the game loading you with money, it's not the biggest surprise to me.
It's a little surprising to me because he does have Dark World access, and like 5 hearts is still kind of low, but with the blind script, you don't really have to worry about your heart total as much, and Hammer also uses your mind if Thieves Town is at least a crystal, so you can actually full clear it very reliably.
On the other hand, he got a mirror out of it.
Yeah, that actually really paid off. Sequence breaking that mirror by water walking. Mirror is one of those items you love having early before even going to Dark World, since it allows you to search basically 2 areas at once, in both the Light and Dark World. So I'm2good is saving coding to Link's house, so I'm assuming he's going to start from Hype Cave and work his way to the west. Or not.
My guess is... Oh, I think he is going to Hype Cave.
Okay, yeah. I think he was probably like planning in his head to go to South Shore right away. Not South Shore, the Cave 45 possibly. Or like you said, that was just his plan originally, was just going to Kakariko from the south. And I like seeing this early Hype Cave. It's with, as I was saying earlier, like 5 hearts is kind of comfortable for Thieves Town if you're rather experienced, which I assume both these runners are, being in the semi-final conference. But like going to Hype Cave and working your way over and checking more overworld allows you to find a little bit more safeties to continue the dungeon at a much faster pace because you don't have to be as scared in the dungeons.
And finding those 2 hearts definitely makes it more comfortable. Because, while yes, it is a possible dungeon, 5 hearts is rough because everything in Thieves Town, for example, can basically do 2 hearts of damage.
Yeah, even if you see his heart total right now, he with 2 extra hearts, he would be down to 1 heart if he didn't have those, and he would be a little bit slower going into these areas, having to avoid the enemies even more so. And 2C kind of following in I'm2good's footsteps by also water walking in sequence breaking that mirror and checking Zora at the same time. Alright, so we're getting digging game between 1 and 30 digs to try and find 1 treasured item.
18 digs for 3 bombs. And by the look of it, Misery Mire's our pendant, and Thieves Town is our other 5/6 crystal.
So that means we have to find the ice rod later, which the runners want to see sooner rather than later.
The later it gets, the more likely you have to look in Turtle Rock for the ice road. Have you ever noticed that the ice rod does like to place itself somewhere, usually on Laser Bridge?
I don't really have that experience myself. I either like find ice rod at the very first few locations you check, or just find it somewhere along the line. I don't really get that many ice rod hunts. I find like hookshot hunts more often myself. Like hookshot on Trinex.
That is absolutely terrible place for a hookshot.
But yeah, so I'm2good's routing is actually kind of paying off for him, going to South Shore and then finding the glove there allowed him to work his way backwards from the Dark World towards CAC and mirror to check all these locations before entering the Dark World portal up top. So I wonder if that like decision he made was because he found the mirror early, and this is what he was planning that would happen.
It's possible. Because that routing was extremely convenient finding.
So I actually, seeing the 5-6 crystal locations, I actually really want to see one runner at least go up and sequence break Death Mountain to get the 5-6 crystal off of Tower of Hera, and then also do Thieves Town right after. And then turn in the Pyramid myself, but that's a kind of aggressive routing that I would go for, just seeing how open that is right now, outside of having a flute or lamp to logically have access to it.
Oh good, I'm not the only one who would play aggressively there.
So even with the routing that I'm2good did, feeling like it's a little bit more convenient, TwoC seems to be the first one to West Dark World. So I wonder if that's just, if it was a routing thing, or if it was just execution based on Boots movement.
Don't you love it when the random prize you get from the chess game is is a larger prize than the main prize?
I absolutely love seeing 50 or 100 rupee prizes before even getting the second item. Just having a little bit of like bottle money or digging game money or pod money, everything that you could want. Just like having that extra 50 or 100 rupees is always nice to see.
We got a shovel out of the brewery. Which remind me that with Meyer being a pendant, we won't necessarily be seeing a flute.
All right, that's something that could be in Gen's Tower. It's nice to have flute. It does make so you're routing a little bit faster, getting to certain locations, but with boots, you already have a good amount of movement. Like the shovel being where it is, you're probably not going to see it being used up until we find the Tines Mitts and route it in. There's flippers in Thieves Town. Route it in with purple chest. And the first bottle in Thieves Town as well.
That will route conveniently to check sick kids while we're in town.
Two items up front, two items in the back. Hammer in hand and a small key, so no worries about leaving an item behind here. So Thieves Town is like one of those dungeons that you like having boots for. Like, casual boots is just made for Thieves Town. Having a sword to just dash through all the enemies in your path, as well as just having the boots to get through all these long corridors.
I'm not sure if Thieves Town is the best dungeon to have boots in, because there are a couple of others that come to mind for boots being an enormous benefit. But Thieves Town is high on that list. The back of Desert might be the best place to have boots. Just for sheer speed you get from it.
I was thinking more about this, the Hellway that I'm2good actually got the perfect A and Prey with. Just finding the God Pixel and just running straight up.
Yeah. It's always satisfying to find the perfect pixel. We've got an 8-bomb stun prize.
Well, they don't have to worry about ever finding bombs. Like earlier, I'm2good was a little scared of Mini Boulderm Cave because he didn't have enough bombs. Like, he had one left over for Ice Rod Cave, and I don't remember where we got that Bloomerang, but if he had that, he would have been happy to just throw as many bombs as possible at those Mini Moldorms.
It's worth noting for chat that we just found a green 20 in the back of Thieves Town. Our boots were in blind sell.
I'm so used to the ladder, doing like casual boots on ladder where the boots aren't removed from it yet, so you still see them.
One of those famous moments of boots on torch I've seen lately. Right? Always satisfying to find boots, blocked boots, and casual boots. And TwoC has the first crystal of the match at 21 minutes.
Messed up the blind skirt a little bit, but still recovered very well. Didn't lose too many hearts. Still survived.
That's honestly what matters here.
Yeah, for newer runners out there, one of the biggest things you can do is just play safe. The biggest time loss you could have is dying, so try and play the game safe.
And we have that immediate bottle vendor turn in for the blue cane.
So blue cane puts a Spike Cave in logic. Well, it's
Once
still
we
Dark World.
get up there.
Yeah, Death Mountain access.
I see you're like me and considered Death Mountain in logic without a lamp.
And the bow. All right, that's not actually something we really want to see. So with, oh no, never mind. We do want to see the bow. I mismarked my own tracker and thought it was a pendant pod. Sort of a pendant and pod in Eastern, but no, we like having the bow. We love seeing the bow. That puts another crystal in play for us.
Bow is very useful to have anyways, because you actually do need it in the end game. Unless you know Mimic Clip in GT. But
Which I'm not entirely sure either of these runners know. I play with TwoC a bit, but I don't know anything about I'm2good, if he knows it or not. But yeah, I really think rushing to either Pod or Tower of Hera is what I would like to see. I would like to see Tower of Hera first, just for the 5-6, and then Rodin Pyramid into Pod.
it's mildly abusing to me that after getting a bow, our next 2 checks were arrows. Is that an ice rod?
I was gonna say that looks like an ice rod, so we're gonna have to go find the cape to get it. So TwoC about to get the ice rod information up here. Then the likely mirror to Light World. Telling the bird to back off. Lay me in peace.
I mean, I don't blame him for telling the bird to back off. That bird is very dangerous. I considered the Dactos the most dangerous enemy in the Dark World.
Oh, by far. They chase you down. They do, what, like 2-3 hearts of damage when you have green mail? Which they have blue mail, so it's going to hurt a little bit less, but... Yeah, especially in that location where one of them automatically triggers, and you kind of want to pull the rock anyway. And so it just attacks you the whole time.
So it's worth noting, everything we find up here is blocked by either the lamp or the flute. But it's also a place we would have to go to get a crystal anyways.
Yeah, so like, as you said, this is out of logic until they find lamp or flute. And if they find one or the other up here, that means they know the other one has to be down in the world somewhere. So they can actually work their way backwards in logic to try and find that item. If they would like to have it.
About the biggest risk of coming up here without the lamp, if the lamp is the logical access, is if something's in Hera basement.
Yeah, because they don't have fire rod yet. And so the lamp is the logical access, and then yeah, you're right, they don't have access to the basement. And they don't have the hook shot to even Herapod to even further break the logic.
But luckily, the big key is accessible today. And I'm2good gave us a catfish check, which was actually even more arrows.
Find the bow and find 30 arrows after. It's loading them up.
And I'm2good is also going up the mountain here. I really do like these aggressive mountain plays, especially when there's very little risk you have because you have access to the entire eastern Light World Death Mountain.
Yeah, like the biggest risk is if Titan's bits are down in the world somewhere rather than on the mountain, makes going to Dark Death Mountain a little bit more out of the way until you actually have the Ice Rod and Fire Rod to actually complete Turtle Rock at the same time to get it all done at once.
TwoC is hoping that the Moldworm here does not drop a key.
We're going to get a hammer fight out of this. Obviously, with the Fighter Sword, you need 6 hits in an enrage phase, where with a hammer, you just have 3 hits to finish the worm off. Like, the biggest risk, as you saw with using the hammer, is you can't have your sword out and risk of poking the tail.
This is true, and without the sword out, it is very, very easy to fall off.
And that was the small key, so we're going to have a fire-locked item in the basement.
And now with the Runner's Hope, whatever it is down there is absolutely nothing. But with our second crystal acquired, we have both 5/6 crystals in 28 minutes.
Yeah, like this is like one of the seeds that I like, with being able to just go from crystal to crystal to crystal and just checking the overworld along the way. It really gives you direction as to what you have to do, rather than have to like gamble one other location to try and find the next big progression item you need or want. Even if it is out of logic. And the red mail.
Neither runner will be looking too much for hearts when they both have red mail, I don't think. 8-heart blue mail was probably comfortable for both of these runners, so red mail makes it that much safer.
I guess one reason as well to come to Death Mountain instead of go to Pod is without having a fire source, doing the Pod dark room to get to the boss, having to kill those turtles in the dark is not an easy task.
With a fighter's sword, no less.
But that's one of the speed things too, with that bombos you were talking about earlier, if it's a speed item or not. And it kind of is for if you're doing dark turtles, because once you flip them, you just bombos to try and kill 2 to 4 at once.
And we got the single arrow. A fun item to look for sometimes, because almost everybody smiles when they find just one arrow sitting in a box. Or funnier yet, one arrow falling from the sky after a boss fight.
This is one of those like very useless items. I guess it'd be kind of convenient for I'm Too Good to find that single arrow, being only at 29 arrows, not having a full quiver.
And TwoC is going to take the pyramid bomb. So these runners did what you were hoping to see. Thieves into Hera for Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, it's nice aggressive play. If the 5-6 to say like was in Pod, I can see them putting off doing Pyramid like entirely, with it being a little more of a gamble, because obviously you can't loop Pod into Pyramid as easily as Pyramid into Pod, because it is kind of far away to get these 2-3 checks if you count the ledge.
The one downside for TwoC's route is TwoC does not have Catfish checked, and it could get orphaned very easily now, which we know wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, it's just one of those risks you gotta take if you want to orphan it or spend a couple minutes getting to it.
He has a mushroom for incentive now.
But at the same time, like finding the mushroom can also incentivize putting off doing the mushroom, because they don't have powder yet, so they can use that mushroom for fake powder. Like, I like having a mushroom as more of a convenience for dungeons such as like Ice Palace, where you're fine with losing magic early and just being able to fake powder when you need it. Or like Turtle Rock in the back for Laser Bridge if you're not that great at laser skips. Being able to fake powder with the mushroom.
I always forget that dock is there.
Yeah, having the mirror and that dock, it really makes checking Hobo along with a Pod even easier. Like, it's a nice little loop. Not as far out of the way as swimming to it.
And we're getting a check of the Sahasrara closet.
Yeah, another runner choosing to do the early Sahasrara checks. That's more common. There's the flute, so that actually puts our big bomb in logic for that mushroom.
TwoC is going back immediately to activate the flute, it looks like.
I'm not a big fan of that, personally. Like, it's nice to have, but you can do that after doing Pod. Because right now, the flute doesn't really open up anything. Besides the spike cave that they didn't check. But it's nice to have. I would just like to have seen him go and activate this after doing Pod, or Pod Eastern if he chose to dip in there. And look, he is actually turning that mushroom now. Maybe that's what he thought was, this mushroom is now in logic. I'm gonna go fake powder and Then I'm gonna go turn in mushroom afterwards and just buy a green potion to refill my magic.
Getting the flute to speed up both returning to pod and turn in the mushroom afterward is actually something I do like to see. I do agree we could have seen pod first, but when you're combining the mushroom check with the fake powder, because you got the flute, it's not the worst time loss.
And then, like, I was gonna say he might actually go ahead and run all the way to the digging spot and do the digging dig deep with the shovel, find the item, and then flute away from there. But once again, that's to be looped in with the purple chest later if they chose to do so. But yeah, I assume we're just gonna go back to pod here. Maybe he was kind of hoping to find the lamp in logic there.
Or the fire rod. Because most of the dark rooms are actually pretty simple in pod, but the fire rod does make turtle room that much easier.
Yeah.
But there are worse dark rooms to have to do than the pod ones. Misery Mire comes to mind on that.
Misery Mire is going to be like one of those like last location kind of checks unless you want to risk going into it early with it not being a required dungeon. But yeah, Misery Mire dark rooms and then Aghanim Tower dark rooms are both fairly sketchy without a fire source, and I might even say that well, I guess both don't really have that many torches to light up besides in the Dark Maze and Aghanim's Tower.
The main dark rooms in the tower have torches. The Mire dark room layouts aren't that complicated. It's just getting that Samaria block place in the dark is virtually impossible unless you know the room layout very well by memory.
Alright, so like pod key logic, we're gonna find up to 2 non-small keys up in the front, and we did find one on the arena bridge being the big key.
Yes. My question is going to be, what will we find in pod for possible progression other than picking up a crystal? Worst case scenario right now, we don't find anything.
Yeah, that really is worst case scenario, but at that point they probably will just mirror and do Eastern Pals right after. Because it's just right there and there's no better time to come to it.
There's our second non-small key item, which means that we don't need to see Vanilla Big Key Chest today, because Vanilla Big Key Chest is just a small key.
Yeah, this is another one of those dungeons where you like having the boots, as you were saying. I like seeing the little bonk off the stairs to get to that other side there. It's really fun to see.
And TwoC is setting up an early hammer yump, which with the small key in hand, you can actually make it a very smooth route to get through. Unfortunately, with the frame drop, I did not get to see what was in the check.
I did not see it either. Yeah, finding the really big key does inspire this. I'm2good is going straight for the boss rather than check the back first.
I'm not against that route either, because TwoC will just loop around to get here. I'm2good is going to take the small key the other small key through to the back and be able to finish the dungeon now and just mirror from the back. So both routes do have their advantages, I would say. Also, I'm2good is not having to go through the maze backwards. TwoC got a little bit lost in the back of that maze. The front of that maze?
There's like one or two tricky spots in there when you're going in from the bottom, but if you know which way the camera should move when you see the fire shooters, it's not so bad. But I actually kind of like TwoC's routing better because he doesn't have to do an extra run through the middle to mirror.
I won't disagree on that.
Where from here he can just go straight to the boss and then never have to come back to the main entrance another time. Alright, and this is like the medallion usage that I'm talking about with the turtle rooms. Now, I'm2good used the Quake to try and damage the turtles.
It worked out. As we are now going through the dark hallway to Helmasaur.
Just using the standard hold the sword out strats to hit them with the hammer instead of using the newer hammer extension with the spin speed.
You always do want to have some sort of hammer extension because hitting upwards is very, very difficult without it. Because for those who don't know, both the spin speed and holding your sword out extends the upward hitbox of the hammer, putting it more on par with the sword's hitbox, if I remember correctly.
So yeah, there really isn't anything here in Pod.
We may be seeing that trip to Pendant Eastern here. I mean, if you want to check Pendant Eastern, now is the time. You're at Pod. TwoC is doing... Did TwoC do a spin speed setup?
Yeah, it looks like he did. He didn't have his sword out there, and he seemed to be hitting the helmet very reliably. Gonna immediately grab the mirror and probably will just go Eastern. There's no really other good places to check. All we know we have is Eastern Palace, the Shovel, the Gina's Cave, Spike Cave. Like, all these things are like...
And Hookless Swamp.
And Hookless Swamp being the last one.
And honestly, of those, I would do Hookless Swamp last. Because who really wants to do Hookless Swamp?
Yeah, it's a very long and kind of risky gamble with how long it takes to get to the left side. So we still haven't seen a Tinesmiths yet, which would open up quite a bit. I was gonna say that like Fire Rod would be a nice thing to see because I thought it opened up Ice Palace and Skull Woods, but it only opens up Skull Woods really.
Yeah.
Which would incentivize us to go there next, like immediately, since it is a crystal with 2 items.
Mitts is probably what the runners want to see most right now. Unless they're hoping for a Fire Rod, Cape, and Hookshot to show up first, of course. Because if those terms show up first, you're basically just in Mitts mode.
Yeah, like I would rather see Mitts be go mode if I were them, because then it puts less gambling into play. With Mitts opening up so much of the world, you gotta choose the right location to find the next progressive item.
I'm2good is not going to Eastern. From what we've seen so far of Eastern, that's not the wrong decision here, but it's a very risky gamble to take.
Yeah, because once again, we're doing this out of logic for this big key chest. And if we do choose to go fight the boss, so yeah, like the big chest and the boss are out of logic.
So the lamp can't be here, but our Fire Rod, Hookshot, or Cape could be here, or Mitts. I'm2good is checking Agina.
I mean, it is 2 quick checks out of the way. You get to see Desert Ledge as well. And it is one of those locations people tend to put off. But like having the flute, being able to get there a little bit faster is nice. Let's see what Agina's Cave holds. A Master Sword.
Technically, we need one of those.
Yeah, it is progression in a sense. It is not progression, it's a required item. I guess it is progression if you want to consider Aghanim a thing, but you know that there's nothing on Lumberjack Ledge, so you really don't want to do that, especially in the dark.
If we had a book, that would be a progression item right now.
So yeah, it's getting down to Digging Spot and Spike Cave and Hookless Swamp. Suddenly, I'm turning into a fan of Hookless Swamp here.
I'm a bigger fan of Dig Spot right now.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to see one of them do that before mirroring out to go check somewhere else. Man, nothing in Eastern.
We are in an item drought with that.
Alright, here is our shovel spot. I'll be interested to see what TwoC does. I assume he's actually going to do what I'm2good did and is going to go check Agina's Cave.
Spike Cave, maybe? I'm2good's going to Eastern.
So it's a digging spot.
Digging Spot was nothing. So
You have just a 10 arrow refill for him.
I mean, both these rounds just got done doing arrow-intensive bosses, so picking that up actually makes decent sense here because, you know, you're nearly out.
Nah, you'll find more.
I say that
Enemies will drop
TwoC flies off.
So now he is doing the Spike Cave play. Once again, it is one of those locations that people really don't like checking. It takes kind of a bit to get to. Obviously, when they were on Death Mountain, they ended with a save and quit at Paradox Cave, but so there wasn't really a good time to come here.
I do prefer being able to check Spike Cave, for example, in a hookshot and hammer access situation.
What
because it's routed in very nicely with that Heraclear.
I like routing in Spike Cave before doing a dungeon that doesn't really require magic, such as like Eastern or Pod.
So about the hookless swamp.
I guess that's the play. Which, like, TwoC's just gonna go to Agina's cave, get his Master Sword, and then be like, alright, I'm last locationing this item and we're in Swamp Palace, but I'm Too Good's in the same boat, unless he decides to do Hookless Swamp before doing Spike Cave.
Honestly, last location in Hookless Swamp does not feel that bad, because you know for a fact your opponent did that too.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where it's you get an item in a bad location and you're just like, well, at least my opponent has to suffer too. I feel like so far, none of these players are really playing that risk averse. Or they are playing pretty risk averse. They're just doing like the standard plays you'd assume people would make. Just checking the nicer locations before doing the worst locations. And he's actually going to Skull Woods.
Honestly, I don't disagree here. I forgot Skull Woods was a thing.
I kind of forgot about it too, to be honest. There's actually 2 items you can find. The chance of actually both items being in the back is actually pretty low. And with Canis and Mari as well, he also knows about that bonk for the full magic, so maybe that's another reason why he came up here. But yeah, like with the Canis and Mari, you can do the statue room very quickly too. So you can generally get all the 5 chests up front pretty easily.
6 if one of those front 5 is a big key. The biggest risk is that if by some chance both items do end up here in the back.
Yeah, well, this is also like plays to where do you think your opponent would do first? Like if your opponent, like I said, they're both kind of having the same play style where they're kind of avoiding bad situations and just going for the bigger quantity of checks rather than the risky checks.
Our first item in Skull is a 10 arrow pack.
And a book. That's the progression with the Master Sword. And that lets us go into Desert Palace, but can't complete it without a fire source.
Well, we conveniently found both items in without having to go too far.
So instead of checking the Bombo's tablet into Desert, Comment to Ether makes sense, because if, let's just say that our lamp is on Ether tablet or the Fire Rod, it actually lets you full clear Desert at the same time while you're in that area.
It's also the most orphaned location we have, because there is nothing else up here on Death Mountain without meds. Also, if your lamp is here, you could possibly go into Hera Basement.
It's just a piece of heart. A little bit of love. So I'm2good gonna make his way to Spike Cave himself now. Getting a little bullied by these boulders falling.
Cabbages from the sky. And we're about to see our Bombos tablet check.
So now it'll be interesting to see if I'm2good decides to go to Skull Woods or into Hookless Swamp. Because there's still that possibility that the book was just a red herring and you were supposed to go to Swamp.
It's always fun to see a good mitts hunt sometimes, especially when I'm not the one running.
Alright, so I'm2good is doing the Skullwoods play, so once again it's the less risky of the two plays between Skullwoods and Swamp. The interesting divergence might be if I'm2good decides to take that book out of Skullwoods, mirror, and check Pedestal.
That is a possibility, though I think the only item that can be on Pedestal at this point is the cape. Or the hookshot.
I think it could also be the fire rod.
It could basically be anything but the mitts.
Yeah.
Because if it's the cape, we just count that as the ice rod.
Alright, we're getting a little bit of Skullwoods divergence here. I'm2good is checking the front before doing the statue room. So he might go and check the other three chests up front here before going back to get his second item.
There's our tempered sword. And our progression is in Hookless Swamp.
Well, at least we got a tempered sword of the deal.
So the big problem with Hookless Swamp in my mind is you don't have hookshot. So, which means that it could very well be vanilla hookshot for progression. With the other progression, of course, being in the back of Swamp.
Like, another reason why you don't really want to do Hookless Swamp ever is because if you're doing the left side, you gotta drop down twice to get the two items on the side.
I'm2good is skipping tablets at the moment.
Yeah, this is a little bit more of an aggressive play. It gives you books, so it's kind of leading you here already, rather than the tablet. Obviously, with the Master Sword, tablets would be more on my mind, but maybe he is feeling like he's behind at this point and wants to do the little bit more aggressive play. We'll see what he does after getting the items from here. If he chooses to do Swamp or start checking tablets. But I assume it's going to be Swamp because the tablets are by themselves orphaned by doing this first.
Do you know what progression I don't think the runners want to see out of Swamp right now? I actually do not think they would want to see a fire rod come out of the front of Swamp.
Is that really the worst thing, though? Like, it gives them two fire sources for both Tower of Hera and Desert to complete both, and then it does open up Skullwoods.
The problem
just
is,
for one item, or not even an item, just you're just gonna go mode Skullwoods at this point.
The problem is it opens up, I believe, just 2 checks at this point.
Oh.
I think there's an item in the back of Desert, and there's an item in the Hera basement. And if it's the fire rod, your progression is back in Desert again.
I think if you do fire, oh, there's a time
There's
mitts. All right, gets the mitts. He's like, "This is all I need. Let's come back later." He can go and mirror and go do Ice Palace right now, which is what he's gonna do. It is a clearable crystal with 3 items. Ooh, I'm2good. What is... This might be very bad for him. He might be thinking he can complete this, maybe. And he's going to run back and not have the fire source to complete this.
This is about to be...
Yeah, this is definitely one of those plays where you're saying, I'm behind, I have to go do this. It's a green pendant. There's an item back there. It's basically 2 items on the boss. And you're just kind of tunnel visioning your plan here. Like I said, he might have been feeling behind. That's why he didn't want to check the Bombos tablet. And then this is actually gonna put him in a more risky mindset going forward. You can't, at this point, you can't make. Yeah, he realizes that he can't complete it. Has to mirror out. So now he's gonna be in a more risky mindset. Like he was already kind of risking coming here right away, but now he might just do the risky plays to try and catch up and try and pull ahead. Because if you make a misplay, I mean, let's just say your opponent is equal skilled to you, and you're doing the exact same thing, which these runners basically have been doing up until this point. You're gonna be behind by making one mistake like that.
And TwoC is making the icebreaker glitch. You extend the door state and go straight through a wall. The big key being there, I do believe, means that this dungeon is not logically hookshot blocked.
I've seen like the big old like paragraph written up on how how Ice Palace logic works, whether something's hookshot locked or Canis and Mario locked. And honestly, I just say I know the bomb jumps. I don't really want to care and think about it. If I find progression here and it like makes me lose a raise because I follow an item that's locked behind like hookshot, trying to search for the hookshot or something, that's on me.
Yeah, Ice Palace is the one dungeon I just pretend doesn't exactly have key logic because it doesn't make sense half the time.
No, I haven't been counting items in Ice Palace, so I'm not sure if we get all 3 items or not.
I'm going to guess we got all 3 items.
Yeah, at this point when you basically last location in the minutes, you don't want to take risks, so yeah, we probably did find all 3 items here. Otherwise, this is just the more aggressive play if you did only find 2 items. Because like his plan was to full clear the dungeon, which is why he didn't hit the crystal switch.
Pretty clean sword. Only have a sword fight against Cold Stare.
Alright, so I kind of want to see Purple Chest. Well, he's gonna go see what Misery Mire is and get the 2 chests here. So this is actually a better play than what I was gonna suggest. It looks to be the Ether.
That is what I saw. So we can't get into Pendant Mire at the moment.
That's a big relief unless you find Ether here. The game likes to put Ether, or the required medallion, right outside the shed, I feel. Or right outside Mire.
I have in fact noticed that before. I've also seen do the same thing to Turtle Rock with Super Bunny Cave.
Yep. Yeah, this is 3 quick chests. I was gonna say I would like to see Purple Chest done before going up Death Mountain.
I do like seeing the Mire checks get done. I'm a big fan of going to Mire as soon as you have Flute and Mitts. Just because the information you can get there is extremely valuable.
And it is 3 quick checks. Yeah, there's a possibility that even Turtle Rock is either both the medallions. The only use he really had was the bombos for now, and that didn't even look to be required with what we've seen from TwoC's side for the dungeon. So yeah, it does seem like I was gonna say like Fire Rod might be our go mode. Just with as chat pointed out, not a whole lot behind fire checks this seed.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's Fire Rod go mode or Quake, not Quake, Cape go mode.
The reasoning why you say Cape Go mode is we know that the Ice Rod is on Bumper Ledge. For those just joining.
Yes, for those just joining, we've already found the Ice Rod. We just can't get it.
Alright, TwoC fluting down to the dam area to go and turn in the purple chest. Another reason to delay like Death Mountain play why I liked purple chest better. There's the fire source.
First fire source is a lamp in purple chest.
I was gonna say the other reason why I like delaying it is because you don't really want to go into Turtle Rock in the first place. And even more so when you don't have the fire rod. Like, let's say if that lamp was fire rod instead, you were more likely to dip into Turtle Rock here.
This is true. But now, you're very likely to only be able to get one item out of Turtle Rock if you decide to dip it.
Ooh, getting dead rocked.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate. That dead rock gets in the way very commonly. However, I guess he decided since he's in here, he's going to do Hera Basement.
Yeah, it's one of those checks that not a lot of people will want to do. With Titans opening up so much, and finding the lamp, it can lead you in many different directions. Lamp could lead you to Desert for the 2 items there. It could lead you here for 1 item. Otherwise, he's just gonna go check 3 items over in Super Bunny anyway. Like, getting this out of the way means you don't really have to come back until you absolutely have to. Like, for Death Mountain area. So with the key logic in Ice Palace, you had to see I'm2good stealing that key from the side there to open that door to go to the boss, because he didn't hit the switch earlier as well. And nothing in the basement. So there's a small key on Cold Stare, which means this is like the one thing I know, which means this is Canis and Mario locked.
Yes.
The only thing about the logic that I know is that there's a small key on the boss.
Or you can be like pretty much every runner and either bomb jump or ice break your way through the logic. And just not care about that pesky logic.
And it's Quake, we can enter Turtle Rock. And there's no reason not to open the door now.
I'd also consider stepping in and refilling magic myself. That's just something I like to do, is keep a full magic bar when I'm on the mountain for some reason. Typically because I usually end up pairing Spike Cave with these checks when I'm playing, but...
Yeah, because you're already in the Dark World, might as well just run across, especially with like Tempered Sword. It's a lot easier to run past the Lionels. And there's the Fire Rod. All right.
And to fire shield.
So now we are most definitely going to dip into Turtle Rock here. But first, the one check you can actually do in Hookshot Cave using the boots.
I don't disagree with checking Turtle Rock here because you know you have to climb the mountain to finish Turtle Rock anyways.
All right, if I'm TwoC, I really want to see the cape in this one chest. No cape. All right, guess we're double dipping Turtle Rock for sure.
As a viewer, my brain says cape on Laser Bridge.
Would that? I was gonna say, would that even be bad? But yeah, because you can't just create a mirror portal because the can't keep that portal.
Because we don't have hook shot.
Well, I was gonna say like the TR safety door, you can create a portal and come back later, but because you got to go back to the dark world anyway. If I know the game like I think I do, you can get the I was gonna say you can get the item off of Bumper Ledge and retain the
You can.
by death by dying and then just save and quitting to
Save and continue specifically.
Save and continue.
But yeah, so long as you've not fought Aga 1, you can do that. The problem is, at the moment, our access to the East Death Mountain is going past Tower of Hera, which means we have to mirror.
Because we don't have hookshot too.
That's our 4th bottle.
Oh. So I'm still wondering if I don't think I'm2good did a head check.
We have not had a ped check. I'm trying to avoid thinking about pedestal right now.
Because like as a runner, like you know that there's up to 2 items that could possibly be there. But I guess not having a ether also puts that out of the question for now. But I'm kind of looking at this green pendant desert with 2 items on the boss.
I'd maybe consider clearing Green Pendant Desert right now in I'm2good's situation. You're already at the mire area. And you know you can't clear Turtle Rock even if you find that fire rod because you still need the cape for the ice rod.
It looks like he's flitting away. Just gonna follow in TwoC's footsteps and do the mountain. I doubt he will do the tower room in Tower of Hera, but that'd be good for him. Get some time back.
If you're feeling behind, you really shouldn't do that tile room.
Which might be why he also wouldn't want to do back a desert for those items.
And Mimic Cave.
So luckily for I'm2good, he doesn't have to go up the mountain yet another time to check the tablet here that
Hookshot in Mimic Cave.
That TwoC did.
It's a classic.
Alright, well, we're just one cape from go mode for a nice run off Bumper Ledge.
Hookshot in Mimic Cave is a classic one.
Yeah, it's almost like a Hook shot on Trinex. But yeah, it looks like I'm2good is doing the tile room.
On the plus side, if you find your cape on Laser Bridge now, you can save that portal if you so chose. I still wouldn't in this case, because you would have to climb down an additional time to do so. And I would rather just go through Turtle Rock a second time than have to climb the mountain twice because of Swamp Palace.
Yeah, Swamp being the obvious play after here. Being able to clear the back.
Is TwoC doing laser skips with a hook shot?
Yep.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, there's a handful of ways to do mimic skips, and that's one of the more unique ones.
I think I know. TwoC is taking the hook shot and going to the most logical place to check for next progression.
Yep, hookshot cave. It looked like he was gonna go flute there for a second, but then he realized that hookshot cave is now opened up. Yeah, it's kind of a chore to get to hookshot cave once you've already went to the big key or big chest door in Turtle Rock, because now you gotta go loop around.
It's not the most time-consuming task, but
yeah, you really don't want to orphan this later and have to come back if the cape is here. Like, obviously the most logical choice would be to going to Swamp Palace, but that's also like gambling that it isn't here for the cape. And who knows, maybe cape is on left side swamp, which I don't think either runner did. They just found the Tyan's mitts and left.
I don't blame them.
Yeah, the inventories are getting pretty large now, so quick swapping is starting to become a pain.
That tends to be the case later on. It's great for early convenience, though.
Ooh, okay.
I'm2good just realized he has enough hookshot.
Yeah.
I've made that mistake more than once.
I was just thinking too, like, oh, you know, like, why did he miss the one torch? Why did he miss the next torch? But no, it it makes sense now. Well, you can actually go the wrong way and still get the torches. You got to do the top right one first by throwing it from the bottom, and then you get the others from. You basically just throw all your fire rod shots to the north. Wait, do you? I think you do up, left, then right for the last one. So never mind, you gotta do top right, get the two on the bottom, and then the last one on the top left. I watched a YouTube video on this and then tried it out myself, and it does work. So it's okay to go wrong side if you know what you gotta do.
And TwoC showing us Diver Down.
All right,
There.
not gonna go turn in that big key for the item.
He might turn it in after to when he goes in for left side if there's, because at the moment you're guaranteed 2 items in left side swamp and big chest.
Yeah, definitely.
And we have Argus, one of the many eyeball bosses in this game.
Eyeballs are spooky.
Unfortunately, missing the quick kill, but
A couple of anger slashes there, probably.
I mean, I won't complain about that prize. And 2C is making the return trip in for the 2 items in left side swamp.
Yeah, once again, I wasn't counting items in here, but I think there's only 1 item left.
We got both the compass and the
Okay,
big key in flooded room.
Okay, yeah, I missed that then.
I don't know if we have the map, actually. I don't think we do. I think it was a 20 rupee in the bomb wall chest, but that was a while ago, so I might be wrong.
Okay, so 2 items here. And it's the cape, go mode, hell yeah. You got there.
And, well, good thing you went back, because that is go mode.
Yeah, that's You're most likely gonna do that check anyway once you find the big key. Like you said, there's like up to 2 items on that side. Or in that dungeon then. So I'm pretty sure I'm2good's probably just gonna do the same play that 2C did. Going to hookshot cave after finding this hookshot and then going to swamp. In that big key, then going back in to try and get the last items.
And 2C will now be going and visiting our favorite friend, Mothula. Honestly, Mothula would be the beginner runner's nightmare boss.
Yeah, it's once you understand why the boss is difficult, you know why it's a pain.
I've long since joked that the boss isn't the Mothula, that the boss is actually the
spikes.
The spikes on a conveyor belt.
Yeah, that's definitely the reason why in Randomizer, that being one of the worst dungeons to do, depending on what's there. Like, if Moldorm is there, easiest boss in the world. Vitreous is there, super spooky.
Helmosaur's there, downright hilarious.
But yeah, like Moth in any other arena besides his own, it really is.
It's a free crystal is what it is.
It's very trivial. So yeah, it's definitely the arena itself being the boss.
And now we have just a couple of quick trips to boss fights.
Yeah, a little boss rush. Going from Moth to Trinex to Aghanim 2 to Ganon. And I guess if you want to count the Lanmo 2 and Moth 2. Not Moth. Moldorm 2. Possibly a visit to Ice Armos 2 as well. If you want to count even more boss rushing.
I'm2good's making a... I actually don't disagree with this relatively risky play here. I'm2good's leaving the items on Laser Bridge.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you are feeling behind, you know, just taking that gamble that out of the, well, like, 3 items that were on Laser Bridge, that none of them are the cape. So he's gonna make us some time here. I guess we can, like, time, so let's just say TwoC finished Moth, got to the black screen at 1:25:03. We can now use that as a measuring tool for when I'm2good is at the same point.
And now, back to Trinex.
Yeah, making sure that Trinex is the last thing he kills, he can run straight to GT.
When given the option to do anything other than Trinex last and Trinex last, you want to do Trinex last.
Yeah, outside of not having silvers, we're pretty well equipped for the end game here, having a tempered sword, red mail, and 15 hearts.
I mean, I wouldn't complain about this loadout.
Like, even having half magic too can even make Gauntlet even faster if you're a fire rod user. So I'm2good can make up a little bit more time here if he does decide to take that big key and go back right away. Nope, just because he's going. It makes sense. You would rather see the cape be on the boss rather than be in the big chest.
That is not a play I see most runners making. While it would save time in this exact scenario, it would be a time loss in, I'd say, 95% of places.
Yeah.
Which is just not a gamble I'm willing to make unless the said gamble is a tile room check in GT. I'm one of those guys who will check GT tile room for fun.
I tend to do that play when I know that I'm going to lose anyway, just to entertain the crowd.
I have won at least one race because I did tile room first.
Two quick spin slashes and kills Argus. Claims his half magic. Feel like I'd like even having half magic for even Trinex. Missing Fire Rod and Ice Rod shots is something that can happen fairly commonly.
Those heads are more agile than they look.
But with a tempered sword, it does make it a lot easier. It's not like you're doing a hammer Trinex, where you need to be a little bit more accurate with your weapon placements. Ooh, I'm2good. Grabbing the small key first.
Grabbing the small key, I don't disagree with grabbing the small key first. Because you have to go over here to get the small key. The bigger problem is if he goes for left side first.
Yeah, like as if he forgot that he got the big key, but we're going to see it here.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that decision.
For a second there, I really assumed he had quick swap to the bombs. Because he must have been setting up for the diver down. And we have a GT big key guessing game. 1 in 22 locations you can be at. And let's see if we can start this. Please take a guess. Do I got it? No. Okay, now it's started. Get your guesses in. 2 people started a little bit early. But yeah, I really thought he was gonna put some bombs on the chest to show his anger for what's there.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised. That is something I see so many people do. Usually as a joke. So on that GT guessing game, what's your favorite guess here?
I usually like saying, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I like guessing 8 for the that was like one of my first things. It's like that little spinny fire bar room on the left side.
Okay, yeah, I can see liking that one. I usually do 13. It usually if they don't go full right, it usually puts it right about rando room.
But I know TwoC is a big fan of Dark Magician, so it's not going to be where I would suggest. Rather than taking Hope to the left, he likes doing Dark Magician.
I mean, Dark Magician mathematically makes sense.
Or the contentious name Dark Magician. It's probably just the half magician doing only up to compass room and then mirroring back out. So what are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 checks so far.
5 checks, yes. Well,
6
pedestal is dead to begin with. Hope room brings us up to 7.
Do a little soccer practice.
I'm always a big fan of the punting the block down the room.
8, 9, 10, 11. All right.
Yeah, nearing out would put your usual room of choice of that fire bar room as number 12. So let's see what comes out of there. Number 12 today was just bombs. And with the routing we've got today, number 13, my usual number, ends up being the next check in the fire snake room.
Alright, so from what I was timing, it looks like I'm2good is behind by like 7.5 minutes here.
And a room that we call a randomizer room because you don't see it. For most part, people don't even know this room exists. Number 14 today is the winner. But a lot of casual runners don't even know this room exists. Or even just casual players, I should say.
That's key number 14. Crescent's XG with the win today, being the first to guess number 14 and scoring 70 points on the SpeedGaming 3 GAN Tower Big Key leaderboard. Congratulations. I was gonna say I really don't like how I said that. Just reminds me of my time when I worked at the casino. And me calling up winners. Please make your way to the customer service desk. Thank you.
So next on the GT climb is what we refer to as the Gauntlet. Because we got 5 rooms full of conveyors and ice and enemies.
I like considering the gauntlet myself as just going up from the lobby of Gan's tower to upstairs after getting the big key. But I see why people call this the gauntlet, because it is the kill rooms.
And the different floor hazards between the spikes, the BMOs, the ice, the conveyors. I actually consider this room easier than the last one.
Yeah, the spikes actually help you in this scenario. So not having silvers, going with the fire rod shots with the half magic makes it even easier. And the spin slash to start it off. And the fire rod bounced off the second landmo to hit the third one once to actually save a fire rod shot, but you threw it away anyway.
These rooms are what I refer to as the most satisfying rooms in the game. And it's because of Wizards.
When you first start playing the randomizer, and after you watch races and actually see people do the exact strat with the Canis Amari, and you try it yourself, and you're like, this is so easy. Like, all you have to do for the first room is literally just walk down, place it, and then send it. It's just so satisfying once you get it. The second one being a little more difficult, but also more rewarding feeling once you get the zero cycle, if you want to call it that. Yeah, TwoC's execution through the Gauntlet was very solid.
Yeah, that was incredible execution on the Gauntlet. And making sure to pick up that key from Mini Helmasaur.
Not picking up any of the chests on the top of the tower, not trying to search for silvers or gold sword.
Honestly, you don't really need them.
Thank you for visiting Gan's tower. Please take your complimentary 20 rupee along with you. Goodbye.
You're killing me.
So now we got Ega 2, a little bit of geometry wizard action here. Hoping to get triples, but not guaranteed. Got a double.
That lineup was not very friendly for getting triples either. It doesn't help when he insists on firing the splitting shot.
Yeah, the blue balls are not very double friendly. Sometimes not even single friendly. But Hega 2 down.
Which means that we have a fight with a pig coming. And which means we have to see about 24 slashes, 28 slashes with the Tempered Sword to reach phase 4, and 12 spins to finish it off. And today, again, is our friendly random fact gentleman.
Telling us about the... I was gonna say the birds and the bees, but no, it's the geese and the ganders.
Beautiful execution through phases 1 and 2. And Gan is doing his usual trick. Because we are already at 6 extra warps for phase 3.
So, I know it doesn't matter for one-on-one gameplay, but for like 2-on-2, when both people have to complete again, I wonder what the optimal number of warps is. Like, let's say you get a 1-on-1. What the optimal number of warps is to actually benefit from having your opponent miss one cycle of Ganon to get a different teleport cycle?
That's a good question.
To be able to tell your teammate, like, hey, skip this phase to have less teleports, or try for less teleports.
I mean, in my mind, it would take about 5 or 6 warps per hit. But beautiful Silverless fight right now.
Yeah, very practiced with this.
Yeah, that was extremely clean Silverless Ganon fight.
Alright, and once he crosses the bridge...
Which we've seen races decided by that bridge this season. But
Alright.
get your GGs in chat for 2C. Finishing with an official racetime.gg time of 1:40:21.
Very well played by 2C. A lot of great execution throughout the match.
And I'm2good will be picking up the GT Big Key shortly. Entirely dependent on the order you choose to open the checks. Most people do it from bottom left, going around clockwise to top bottom right. And that's mostly because of where you start when you're going up the hallway.
Alright, not checking any more chests. Smears out. Going at the gauntlet now. Or what I consider the gauntlet right here. Gonna stick it out, not forfeiting. You're already right here in Gan's Tower. Might as well have fun with it, finish it out. See what the final time is.
Mimic Room 1 not exactly playing nice with I'm2good.
So, with that Ganon hint, I am curious where the silvers are.
Where did... What was the hint, anyways?
Did you find silvers in my tower?
Oh, Ice Harmos.
It could have been on top of the tower, though, too.
Yes, but why would it want to put where they could actually be obtained? Actually, no, I got it. With the big key where it was, big chest. And welcome to the booth, 2C, GG.
Thank you for the GGs.
Alright, so this was a very mentally taxing seed. How did you, like, keep a level head throughout it and continue just making, not necessarily, like, risky plays, just doing what the standard plays are, rather than trying to be risk-averse, or being risky?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just didn't want to go to the swamp, and apparently the swamp had everything. Like, I mean, the main led to everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I was really surprised that Mountain, Todd, like so many places had absolutely nothing. For like 25 minutes, I think. I just didn't find anything.
Yeah, someone in chat pointed out that the lamp or like a fire source was like blocking no progression pretty much. Or at all, I think, thinking about it.
The only case of a fire source blocking anything is Fire Rod blocking the Turtle Rock progression.
Oh yeah, and for a Mimic Cave.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I don't know. I was also also not thinking about going to Hera basement. I got death row, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna wait. Let's just do Hera basement, I guess. But yeah, honestly, if there's like one thing I gotta say that felt really good was my GT.
Yeah, your gauntlet was very impressive. A lot of people in chat were very impressed by what you did and how smoothly and quickly you completed the gauntlet.
Ooh, I'm too good. Not noticing he does not have the key. Has to go back and get the key from Mini Helma.
Yeah, did I'm too good. Also did Dark Magician.
I think he did hope to left.
Yeah, looks like Hope left to me.
Okay, yeah, I'm trying to think about like the keys. Yeah, we needed one from Mini Helmet. Yeah, like overall, I think my GT overall was good. Like Gauntlet and all those things. And then the boss, I guess I got two was a little bit messy. And throughout the seed, you know that Dawn, because we did some practice seeds and stuff. I have that issue with the D-pad. I bumped so many times in this seed. I was like really frustrated by how many bonks I had because I was pressing up by accident.
Yeah.
And I want to go left.
So I was like saying in I break down the game in a couple phases. First phase being like the light world, the second phase is having dark world access. Getting to dark world, you were the first one to do so. Not even by routing choice. I think it was just how smoothly your movement was throughout the seed, just gaining you small advantage pretty much everywhere you went. Because for the most part, you did practically the exact same thing, and he was just slightly trailing you every single time. And then the biggest thing that I want to say that put him behind was he ended up trying to go to the back of desert without a fire source. But even so, that's not a 7-minute deficit.
And worth noting is at 147.08 or so, we are dropping into Ganon for the second time. I'm Too Good is taking on the pig.
Yeah, I was pretty sure that I was gonna find the mountain access like Paul eventually because I saw the 5-6 being in Terra and having the thieves down for 5-6, it just like felt so good. It was like so early as well, 30 minutes into the scene. Obviously, there was a chance the hair was gonna be fireworked.
Yeah.
I took that.
And I was actually a very big fan of the routing you did, that you both did, going from Thieves Town to Death Mountain to Pod, like the Pyramid Pod play. And yeah, not being fire locked was a huge boon for that style. The thing that I found interesting was you, after finding Flute, when you're already like halfway going to Pod, you decided to leave and check, activate Flute and check your Mushroom and Fake Powder. Rather than just go and complete Pod first and then go do those.
Yeah, to be honest, that was a mistake in a way. But at the same time, I figured that maybe I can find like the lamp or something that can make Port a little faster. Or even I was like also thinking about picking up potion just in case I really mess up Port.
Yeah.
I guess with Red Mail and 10 Hearts, that was not gonna happen, but you never know, I suppose.
And beautiful phase 4 from I'm Too Good. Get your GGs in chat for him, please.
Yes, please, get your GGs in chat for I'm Too Good. finishing with an official racetime.gg time of 1:49.19. For our reference, where was the bow? Was that a C-shape house?
C-shape house, yes.
Just gonna think, what do you? Let's answer Triforce's question. Did you like that bow placement?
It's actually not bad because there's like a meme, I guess, from my friends saying that the C house is my house, like TwoC house. Something I don't know. So yeah, I guess it was in my home.
And we're letting I'm2good get ready to join. So overall, the seed didn't seem too bad for you, outside of that mitts placement.
Yeah, pretty much. I would say the mids and like the mids unlocked everything basically. Like fire rod, fire rod and hookshot at that point. But yeah, I don't know. Everywhere I went for like a really long period of time, I just like couldn't find an item, and it's really frustrating when that happens. I know I was like doing out of logic stuff, so you know I shouldn't really be surprised. But you know, at least one thing that would be nice, like a fire rod or something. Yeah, that never happened.
And welcome to the booth. I'm2good.
Thank you.
GG.
Yeah, GG. I don't know. I TwoC is just so much better, but I felt like I played pretty well actually this season. I still lost by 9 minutes. So
Yeah, it's a seed that definitely didn't really feel that good, right? Like especially with mids in swamp. Oof.
yeah, I felt pretty decent in the beginning of the seed, and then looking for those mitts for so long, especially after I did Eastern, I started feeling bad.
Yeah, that wasn't really a good direction to go after, like, so you went from Thieves Town to Death Mountain to Pod, and then not having any progression right there is when divergence would normally happen, but you both kind of went the exact same places in the exact same way. The big difference being TwoC mirroring to Eastern to do it, rather than where you saved and quit from Pod immediately and then came back to Eastern later. It wasn't a really good place to go. You're just kind of hoping to avoid hookless swamp.
Yeah, I actually considered doing swamp earlier just because I knew that I needed something to beat TwoC, and I thought swamp might be a good idea to do early. But I just ended up not doing it because it felt so bad.
Yeah, like I feel like that mindset too of you need to do something is kind of what drove you to try going into the back of desert.
Yeah, that's just like I've made that mistake so many times. Yeah, just not thinking.
Like I kind of expected you to do a little bit more risky plays after that, but you kind of still did just the standard checks. But you know, it's just one of those things where you just make a small mistake and you kind of just gotta live with it. But other than that, you did do really well in a lot of the boss fights, and your gauntlet was also really good.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just I played better than I normally do. I think so. It's still not close.
So may I ask, when you got the mids, did you do Smith's Chain immediately?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
I did Ice Palace first and then Smith's Chain.
Okay. Was that like a hint from your brother? Did he tell you, okay, TwoC never does Smith's Chain?
No, he hasn't told me anything.
Okay.
So this was game one of a best of 5 between OK Game and Black Lotus. How are you guys feeling for your teammates' matches this week?
Well, I'm just gonna keep leaning on my teammates. I think they're the ones winning all the games. So.
It's definitely gonna be a really interesting series. I feel like both like Black Lotus is like a really good team, so yeah, it's gonna be really tough for sure. But yeah, I believe in my teammates, so yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Both games I think are gonna be on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm looking at the schedule and I don't see what the other one is, but I've seen you guys talking amongst each other, and it does look like one game is submitted already for 1 p.m. Eastern time, with Shippo and Wired Wiki being the open mode players. Courage. For
Yeah, I
anyone
think
in chat
it's,
that would like to follow either one of these teams to see when the next match is.
Yeah, I believe that 4 p.m. on Saturday is what they're planning on doing the other game as well. So we're gonna have probably 2 games on Saturday.
Well, color me excited to see these matches go through. Do either of our runners have any other thoughts about this seed?
It was just a tough seed in the end. Like so many dungeons, getting an item, and then okay, do I go on or do I mirror? Yeah.
I feel like that. Like even in Swamp, I mean, I think when you find the mids, you definitely mirror out. Like you're not gonna do left side with that hookshot at least. But,
Yeah.
Same thing I was considering about TR, but I just went on. And I considered about saving the portal, but I don't think that's possible, right? Unless the hookshot game had oh wait.
It could be the last item in Skullwoods.
The other item in Skullwoods was actually a 10 arrow pack in the center. So.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. So I guess I could have saved it somehow. I don't know. I tried thinking about it and then I just gave up. I just went to Swamp.
Which ended up being the right play. You wouldn't have been able to save the portal from Swamp.
Yeah, I almost skipped that big chest, but then I realized, well, we don't have many things to do. So I just went back.
Yeah, I was hoping you would skip it.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you guys for doing commentary. Thank you for the restream. GG once again, I'm2good, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the next races for sure.
Yeah, GG, and I'd like to thank you for the restream as well. I'm looking forward to watching it back.
And with that, please give both of these runners a follow. They gave us a very good show today.
All right, and so for anyone looking for upcoming races for the Open League, I actually have to go find the Invitation League as well. I always forget that they're not on the same page. Let me see if there's any more matches. Today, Tuesday, there looks to be a match going on SpeedGaming 2. About halfway through, between Last Locationers and Triple Dino Disaster, Goomba versus Shulzer. That's going to be a really good match. Both of them really strong runners. But this is actually the last match for the day for the Open League.
I believe the next match scheduled for the Open League is actually yours, Dawn.
Yeah, the next Open League match is tomorrow at 2:10 p.m. EST. Eastern time. It's between myself and Big Monkey, Boomer Friendly versus New Hyrule Order, and it's going to be restreamed on the ALTTPR League. Where tomorrow for the Invitational League is Last Location versus Triple Dino Disaster, Illus versus Yoshi. and currently doesn't show a restream up, but I'm sure they will get one.
Both of those matches are going to be exciting. But with that, in addition to following the runners, please follow our tracker today. Our tracker was Mad Ewok Herd, I believe. And also be sure to follow the SpeedGaming Network channels. I believe we have 6 of them. And of course, follow my co-com Don and follow myself. And you have any final thoughts today, Don?
This was a fun race to watch, and enjoy the rest of the tournament. Both runners and everyone else playing. This is like the hype part of the match or the season, because whatever team wins will get an invitation for the Invitational next season. So all teams really want to win right now, so everyone's going to be trying their hardest.
So yeah, there's invitational slots on the line for this next 2 weeks specifically for the Open League. The winners of this week's matches get that invitation. Although honestly, I don't envy you guys if you go into the Invitational. That has been absolutely a brutal set of matches to have to deal with, which means they are good matches to watch. But with that, thank you from SpeedGaming, and I'm ZK Wind, signing out.
Don, and have a good rest of the day. Enjoy.